Mache. Oh, you see it. It's all love because it's like 7:15-ish a.m. and I'm gonna go get the last of the ingredients that we need for shades. What I eat in a day slash I eat Ghanaian foods for 24 hours. So see y'all at the store. Showing you the ingredients that you're going to need to make your bofrot. Don't worry, the full recipe is gonna be down in the description. So here I'm showing you the sugar, the nutmeg, the baking powder, like all the ingredients that you need. They're like all key quintessential ingredients to making Ghanaian bofrot. Some people add pineapple extract in the recipe that this is actually inspired by, like because I actually had to get an authentic recipe probably earlier on this year. She uses pineapple extract, her mom does. People use other things. The thing I forgot to add, which is so good, is cinnamon. And there you'll see that I actually melted the butter too much. It really should have been soft. And so that really kind of messed with my consistency. And later on, you'll see that I add a little bit of flour to thicken up the bofrot into kind of like more of a thick type of paste. Now you're just gonna mix, mix, mix before you get started with mixing it up with your hands. Now you can use a mixer. I actually usually do that. But with the texture that it was tonight, I guess I just wanted to use my hands because it really gave me like direct access to check the consistency, not to have to stop and use the mixer slowly. This is the part I was talking about where I added more flour because the consistency needed to be a little bit more thick, not as loose. And here I am showing you what you're working with. We have dough. We have bofrot before it's cooked, of course. So now you cut the bofrot into these thick strips after you've kind of formed it into a huge ball. And you just like slice it down the middle, then you slice it into these thickish, thinnish type of strips. And after you cut it into these strips, what you're going to do is, if you need to, cut these into smaller pieces to actually make like these balls that you need. Now, different people have different techniques, but this is the way that I find works for me. It's just easier for me, and as you can see, this is probably why mine don't always come out to be perfect balls, because I don't always make sure it's a perfect ball. I mean, I don't do that, intentionally to like disrespect Ghanaian food or anything like that, but it's already a long process for me, like when I'm filming and explaining and showing, because I want to be very precise. But I just want to let you know there are other techniques to roll it out into better shaped balls, and it's done all the time by other people in Ghana. Like it's possible. So this is kind of just to give you an idea of how to start that recipe, kind of like a just a guide. That's me showing you what they look like after they've been done. Now you're going to cover them and let them rest for 2 hours. And while they're resting, I just go ahead and add almost all of the oil that is in the container to the pot, because you really, really, really need that much oil. After you've let them sit, you'll see that they have started to rise up and gotten a little bit bigger. And then you're going to start adding them to the pot. I want you to know I cut this recipe in half, the one I'm going to put in the description. So if it looks like mine is less, that's why. And then I realized that I didn't add enough oil the first time. So I added a little bit more. And a trick to testing the oil is to sticking your wooden spoon in the oil, and if bubbles start to go around, you know it's hot enough. And it was like 3 something in the morning at this point, like 3:01 a.m. So I had been forgetting all of my tips. Here I am dancing. And you're gonna let the balls heat up. Sorry, the bull throat, not balls. And you're gonna notice that they might take a little while to heat up in the actual oil, even if the oil is hot, but you just need to be patient. Don't turn it up too high. You will ruin the bull throat. But here you can see that the bubbles are starting to pop up. It's starting to foam up because it is getting hotter. And next up, enjoy this brief moment of me singing, rapping.
And anybody pour my drink, and anybody buy my dinner. So I
Back to what y'all came here for. As you can see, I'm turning the balls. Oh my gosh, I keep saying balls. Turning the bull throat. They're starting to golden and crisp up really nicely. You want to like turn the bull throat constantly in the oil, but not like, you know, every single second. Because you want every side to get nice and cooked, deep fried, but you don't want them to be too like crunchy. So don't let the color kind of like determine in your mind if it's done or not. Because if you're looking for like a really, 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 really deep color, you might actually end up burning and charring the outside. And the inside will probably be really, really good, but you got to think, you know, it's about the entire taste when you bite in from the beginning up until the end. You want to drain these bull throat like I just showed you.
I won't go until you bless me. Bless me, Oluwaseun. Oluwaseun. Bless me, Oluwaseun. Sorry, I've been mostly quiet throughout this whole part of the video. It's 3:24 a.m. Ooh, chale. These are called bofro, also called puff puff, mostly in countries like Nigeria, but in Ghana they're known as bofro. And they're usually like perfect balls, but I can never do it just because I don't commit to perfect balls, but they are ready. These are still pretty hot, but I just wanted to take a not so perfect one just to show you the inside and the texture and give you a taste test. Oops, am I doing it right? So see how the inside is soft and fluffy. And the key to getting it cooked on the inside is to make sure your heat is not too high. Like you want it to be like medium, but if it's too high, then the inside is going to be raw and the outside is going to be cooked. That is so good. The smaller ones will be fluffier on the inside and not like, you know, gooey on the inside. They can be eaten like this. They can be eaten with chocolate on top if you want. They can be eaten with a drink, which you will see in the morning when Sade has her breakfast.
Hi guys, it's your girl. Y'all haven't seen me. I don't know, but it's your girl Sade, you know. My sister made me these bofro, that's what they call them, balls. In Nigeria they call them puff puffs, and yeah, but you could call them bofro or puff puffs, you know. I can't say it right, but yeah, she made me these, and she also got me this drink. It's like hot chocolate basically, and so this will be my breakfast. It's currently, I don't even know what time it is. It's 11:47, and we about to try these because it smell like a donut and they really soft. But yeah. I taste brown sugar. I really like that. It smells like a donut, a glazed donut. And it tastes like cinnamon. I like it. So now we're about to try this drink. Kind of like hot chocolate, like I said. It smells like coconut water. It definitely tastes like hot chocolate. I like that. That's good. It tastes good when it's cold, too. But y'all don't mind how I look, because I just woke up a few minutes ago, and I had to try my stuff for breakfast. So, this was my breakfast. You know, I'm going to eat the rest of this. But I like the both of these. I give it a 10 out of 10. I like it. Yeah, and so y'all gonna see me from, it's gonna be lunch. Yeah, y'all gonna see me what I'm eating for lunch, so stay tuned. Okay, y'all, so Shanna is cooking the food right now, and we about to show y'all. She's cooking wache. So yeah, we about to show y'all what she's cooking.
Maha, that means good afternoon in Twi. We're gonna get started making the lunch, which is going to be wache, which is a beans and rice dish eaten in Ghana. And we're also gonna have some sides. We're gonna show you guys that after. One of the key ingredients, you need wache leaves. This is from a brand called Kava. This is sourced in Ghana. I will link the actual brand in the description. We need some rice that we've already soaked and gotten off a lot of starch for. We've got baking soda, black pepper, onion salt, sea salt. Now, the onion salt and sea salt aren't really, well, the onion salt and the pepper aren't traditionally added, but I'm seasoning the beans how I want them. We have minced garlic, because we're going to take that garlic juice for garlic flavor. Do I need oil for this? Yeah, I need my coconut oil. And we're going to need coconut oil. This gives the beans a really nice taste. This is called gari, which is basically grounded up cassava, and that's going to be mixed with palm oil to make another part of the dish you'll see soon. So it's really simple.
It's rolling.
To go with one of the sides for the wache meal, we're going to need the palm oil to make that. And we're going to, of course, need your beans that have been soaked. And you can see how they've expanded in size a little bit. So let's get started. Off camera, we're just gonna rinse a couple of the leaves because we need to actually use the leaves to cook them. And this is what gives the wache the red color, as well as adding just a little bit of baking soda. But we don't want a strong baking soda taste or to have it really salty and high in sodium. So that's why I wanted to make sure we had the wache leaves. So we're gonna show you guys after they're washed what they look like outside of the package. These are the wache leaves. As you can see, even with the water up there, is going to make a red color, so make sure you rinse them off really good. And we're going to add these to the pot of boiling beans, not right now but soon. Add in baking soda. Since we have wache leaves, I'm going to just add in half a teaspoon, and if we need more, we'll add it later. We're going to add the wache leaves. And then we're gonna stir. As you can see, they're already releasing the red color. And the good thing about these is you can use these again even after they're done for like 1 or 2 more uses. You just fish them out of the beans. The beans are really darkening in color thanks to the wache leaves or sorghum leaves. Thank you again, Adwa, for them. And now we're going to add in the rice, since the beans are mostly finished cooking. Now, if you're like me and you didn't measure out the water, you want to make sure that you don't cook the rice in too much water, so you can remove some of that stock with a measuring cup. I had 1 cup of rice, and for that brand you need about 1.5 cups of water, so I'm gonna fish out some of that, but we're not gonna throw it away. We can save it for another point. And then we're also gonna add our spices. We're gonna add black pepper. I don't really measure, I eyeball this. Then we're gonna add onion salt, because I like onions, the onion taste in beans. Even though traditionally you add the salt and maybe a little bit of pepper, but that's about it. And then just a little salt, since we're cooking with a lot of salt already. And then we're gonna get some of the juice from the minced garlic. We're gonna add that in to give it a little bit of a garlicky taste. Then after that, you're gonna give it a good stir. Again, fish out any of the excess water. Cover with a pot, and we'll see you guys when it's done. Okay guys, so it's probably been about half an hour or so, and we double layered with parchment paper and aluminum foil to soak up the excess water, and it did what it did. And so you want to use a fork to mix it around so that you don't like disrupt too much of the actual texture of the wache. This is the wache, this is the finished product. And we can actually soak it a little, we can let it, what's the word I'm looking for? We can let it soak up even more water, because the texture is still a little wet, but right now we're gonna do that a little longer. But first we're gonna add coconut oil to it, and I'm probably gonna add about 2 tablespoons. Add some flavor and some texture to it, and then we're gonna mix it up again. Then we're gonna cover it for a little longer, and then we'll show you guys what it's like to make one of the last sides, and then we'll finish up everything. And now I'm actually gonna first take those out. Okay, while we finish like letting the rice kind of soak up basically what we're doing is removing even more water from that, we have some palm oil, and you can get this at an international market of any sort in the aisle that is all dedicated to, really you have to go to a supermarket that's an international one, and this was over in the African section. And so we're gonna melt that just a little bit, depending on how much you're making for people to eat. And once that melts down a little bit, you're gonna add in this gari. Now this is just a bag that I put it in, but it's gonna come in, a different type of bag. Now we're gonna add the gari. Now you're gonna need to add more gari than you add palm oil, because all we're doing right now is essentially turning the gari into a orangey yellow pastel type of color. And so then we're gonna stir it. And that's it guys for this. So the next time you'll see us is we're gonna have the full plate, and we're gonna show you and tell you the name of everything that's on the entire lunch plate. If you're happy.
I just put some ice on my baby. Don't give it back no face.
That's not too much footage, like to edit.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Oh, we're gonna show it. Y'all, this how the food look. It look good.
Hey, it's all separate components, but usually in Ghana, people will mix it all together. And this is not everything. For one, neither of us like avocado, so we didn't add that. You can do a salad on the side, but we wanted to keep it pretty simple and easy. And you can also do plantain, but since we're making dinner with plantain, we're not gonna cook it for lunch. So
I love plantains, y'all.
Yes.
So this is the rice with the beans.
Yeah, that's the wache.
It tastes like regular rice and beans.
Right. It's the color that gives it. The color gives it the particular taste. But for me, I made it like the Ghanaian style that I've seen, and I've seen like her recipes. But for me, like when I make my plate, I'm gonna add like maybe some more pepper and maybe not salt, some other spices. That doesn't really have a taste. That's kind of like palm oil, the stuff I cook with, mixed with the gari. And that is called shito. It's a sauce. You can buy it online. I'll drop the link for that in the description.
I feel like we cooked that before.
Yeah, I did, and I burned it last time. I burnt a little bit this time.
I don't know how I feel about them too.
Yeah.
It tastes like just dark stuff.
Yeah, there's different tastes, of course. Mine isn't like, the restaurant quality, but that's just like spaghetti on the side.
Yeah, and regular noodles, and then I don't like egg, like
Boiled egg.
Yeah, I don't eat it.
I mean, is the stuff ready?
Girl.
We're filming.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, and so people usually mix it all together, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just tastes like an egg.
Yeah. I like it, but I don't like these two. The yellow stuff and the brown stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe if you mix it, you might like it with something like.
Let me
But
see.
the shito, definitely recommend the sauce. If you don't make it yourself, I'm gonna drop the brand for that.
Still don't like it. But yeah, I like the other stuff, but not those two.
Okay. All right, y'all.
Don't you understand? Love is no one in a million. It goes on.
Majo. That means good evening. We've come to the final meal of the day, and we're going to be making the quintessential West African staple, jollof. The best version is the Ghana jollof.
God have mercy upon us.
So I'm going to show you what you need to make the best Ghanaian jollof. And actually, we're going to have fish as a protein, but the actual dish, it would be vegan, but the Maggi that we're adding and the shrimp powder that we're adding is not vegan. So if you follow this recipe, other than that, it would be vegan Ghana jollof. But I'm going to show you right now what you need to achieve this meal. I've already rinsed off the rice to remove the starch, but I wanted to show you the bag. Mahatma, that's the brand, Basmati rice. Now you can use jasmine. You can do what you want with yours, but a lot of Ghana jollof is used, you cook it with Basmati rice because of the texture of the rice. But I also have seen jasmine, but me personally, for Ghana jollof, I like to use Basmati. And today I'm going to be making a small batch, so I'm only going to use 1.5 cups. But again, all of the breakdown is going to be in the description. We have some whole peeled tomatoes. We have tomato paste, bay leaf, shrimp powder, star anise, Scotch bonnet, red bell pepper, ginger. We're going to use about half of a small Maggi cube. We have black pepper.
Love you give, can't be replaced. So go now, do.
Paprika, ginger, Italian seasoning, curry powder, a plantain to fry up. Then we have these oils that we're going to need. And we have all-purpose flour. We have 1 piece of tilapia. We have sazon to season with the fish, and we're going to use some of those seasonings for the fish as well. And in the blender, we have already some of the onion that we're going to need. For this whole meal, you're going to need to break up your 1.5 cups of jollof. I will use about 1.5 red onions. So you will need to use, I will say, almost a whole to be blended, which I'll explain, which is in the blended mixture. And then the other, that half that remains, I like to half that half and use half of that to fry up in the pan, and then I use the other half when I'm baking the jollof. The last thing I forgot to tell you we're going to need is sugar in case the tomato is a little too sour, which shouldn't be an issue because we're going to properly cook it down.
But sometimes you might add too much salt, or you might just do something that's going to make the jollof be unbalanced. So you want to have some sugar on hand. You're also going to need minced garlic, but I didn't show that because I already added that to the blender. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add the red onion to the pot, and then we're just going to stir, and then we're going to add our tomato, not just yet, so we'll be back with you guys soon. So as you can see, the onions have caramelized a little bit, so now we're going to add about 1 to 1.5 heaping tablespoons of tomato paste, and if we need more, we'll add more. At max, usually we might need 2, 2.5. But for now, we're just going to mix that all in there, stir it up, and then we'll go on to the next step. After we've added the spices, which I'm going to put on the screen, we're going to add our blended mixture to the pot. And you know, it's usually gonna look a little brighter in color, but for one, I added way too much Italian seasoning by accident when I was opening, so that's why it looks green. But don't worry, once we add in all of the other vegetables and spices, it's gonna look different. But typically it would have looked a little purplish, and if you use a white onion, it would have looked you know, whitish. But again, we move, and now we're just gonna, as you can see, it's kind of thickening into this like type of paste type of ordeal. And so we're gonna add just a little bit more oil, and then we're gonna cook that down by covering it up. So we don't need a whole lot of oil. And so we're gonna stir that up. And if we need more oil along the way, we will. But for now, we're just gonna put it on lower heat, and we're gonna cover it up. To the blender, the last time we're gonna use a blender, we've added about 2 small sized tomatoes. We have half of a Scotch bonnet pepper. Take the seeds out unless you want it extremely spicy. Then we chopped up 1 whole red bell pepper, and just a little bit of the juice from the tomatoes. But this is all water-based, so it's going to blend up real smoothly. Once that's blended up, we're going to check on this part, which is basically like this beginning of the stew. And if that's all good, then we're going to add this in. Now we're going to add the blended mix, and be careful because this is going to start to pop. So you really don't have to mix it, just because if you start mixing, then it's going to start to bubble. But to get it all mixed up, I'm sorry, I mix it. Mix it, mix it, mix it. Then you're gonna cover it, and then this is gonna cook down. I mean, this could take about 15, 20 minutes, but first I mix it, turn the heat up, and then we're gonna come back and season the stew a little bit more. Stew has cooked down, and we've added additional spices to make sure that it's not too sour or too sweet, because we did need to add a little bit of sugar to balance it out. We're going to add our rinsed off rice. And then we're going to mix it. So then after we mix it, we're gonna add it to a pan to go into, well, a pot to go into the oven. Then we're gonna add the vegetable stock. We are adding half a cup of stock to the oven safe dish. And then we also added some sliced onions in there. And so after we mix this up, give it a good mix. We're going to add just a pinch of salt and any other seasonings you feel you need, because when you do add stock or water, it might take away just a little bit of the flavor, but we don't want to add too much. So after this, we're going to cover it up with Reynolds wrap,
or tin foil. Make sure you broil on high, and it's going to take about an hour, but we're going to check on it in about 25 to 30 minutes and show you what it looks like if it's done. If it's not done, we'll see you when it's done to show you the final results and make the plantains. So as you can see, it looks dry. Don't worry, it's not. We're just in the middle of the cooking process. We're gonna stir it up. And then we're gonna cover it up, put it back in the oven, and then it'll be done. And it looks more yellow than it does like red on camera. So we're gonna take a picture once it's out of the oven. I'm about to taste it, try it, and see if it's done. So this is how every country, every island does it a little differently. But you want to slice your plantain at an angle. And how thick or thin you cut them or slice them depends on how much oil you have. As you can see in the pan, we don't have a lot of oil because we're not making too many plantains, but also they're pretty medium-ish in size. And so we'll show you once we add them to the oil to fry them. So now, that's the sound you want to hear. If it's too hot, it's gonna fry the outside way too quickly, and the inside of the plantain is gonna be mushy. We're going for crispy, crunchy, golden plantain. And we want it, if you saw the skin on the plantain, it was nearly all black because we want a really sweet plantain. So we'll show you when they're done. You just really fry them a couple minutes on each side until they're golden brown, dark, crispy. This is what one side should look like when they're done. So after after this other side fries up, we're gonna put on this parchment paper to drain of excess oil, and then we'll plate.
Cut the cameras.
Okay, y'all, dinner is made. Shanna made me fish, jollof rice, and plantains. Yes. So I had all this before, but I just love it. So we about to try the plantains first. Woo!
Oh, it's hot.
Sweet. It supposed to taste like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Some people eat them not as sweet, but I like my sweet.
Very good. Rice. I'm telling y'all, it's all good.
Gordon Ramsay, who?
Fish. Ooh, hot.
Yeah, it kind of just came off the fire.
So good.
Period.
10 out of 10. Recommend.
Hey. Yes, so if you guys want more, for example, I have a Ghanaian recipe.
I look bad.
In my latest cookbook. It's titled Divine Bites and has food from not just Ghana, but a couple of other countries in Africa that are also popular. So, for example, you'll get West African food. So that could be Ghanaian or Nigerian inspired. You'll get food throughout the Asian continent, a little bit the Caribbean. So if you want more of this, be sure to check out my cookbook and subscribe. You never know when I'll be back for another video, but it's been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about Ghanaian food and also learn about the other elements of Ghanaian culture we have in Ghanaian ancestry on our father's side and our roots way back. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Thank y'all for watching.
That means thank you. And Chui Medowo, that means I love you. And see you later. Bye.
Bye, y'all.